Usually when I talk about false dichotomies, I'm talking it's in the realm of um, atheism versus theism, and it's usually telling people that like just because I don't believe in God doesn't mean I actively worship Satan.
Yeah. That being said, the Church of Satan does good things,
Yeah, man.
from what I see.
I would say the best thing that the Church of Satanism does is campaign for reproductive rights by saying that as a Satanist, it is my religious right to have access to abortions, which is fun because obviously in America they think it's their religious right to have zero abortions going on around them.
Are you prepared for the best segue we'll ever have?
Yeah.
Speaking of abortions, should we talk about this week's episode?
Fuck yeah, folks! Welcome to me. So, I'm Ethan. What's your
I'm
name?
Mike. I'm Mike,
That's Mike over
continuously.
there. What's the name of the title? What's the name of the episode?
It's All Those Who Wander,
All those who want.
which
Listen
we've
up,
just
poet.
been establishing is a, quoting from Tolkien.
Shall I read the full quote?
Yeah, you go for it.
I'll read the full quote and I'll do it in like my softest. This is the voice that I use when I do readings at funerals. I have a big family, and I'm not afraid of public speaking. So, all that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. From the ashes a fire shall be woken. A light from the shadows shall spring. Renewed shall be blade that was broken. The crownless again shall be king. So good. Good old J.R.R.
Yeah.
Um, don't
It
know what
feels
it's.
very much like, for people who aren't interested in poetry, this is going to feel like in TNG, where, there's always someone performing music or Data doing a play or something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, my partner is a poet. They have a book coming out
Ooh.
in the next few weeks. They've already had a book come out this year. Um, I can't remember the title.
Oh, that's
They're gonna
terrible.
kill
For
me.
your partner's
I just,
book.
like honestly, I just when I see it, I just go, "That's their name
Yeah.
on the book." Um, but yeah,
We can always put it in the show notes, a link to an Amazon page or whatever,
I know
if
it's.
your partner is up for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Jem Henderson, community and content manager for um. Oh God, they've
It
changed.
looks like
They've
you're
changed
reading
job.
her job title as well. This
I
is
wasn't
terrible.
reading the LinkedIn page. But yeah, they've got some shit coming out.
Yeah. Ah, cool.
God. It's they're a non-binary trans poet. The book is with two other trans poets. I went to a trans
Good.
poetry reading, and I was the only like cis het white guy there, and I felt after a while I felt like they saw me as the enemy. Um,
A couple of poems in of
yeah,
how we've
hating
been
on the
oppressed
cis
by
het
the
white
cis.
guys, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
yeah, they do
This guy.
suck.
Yeah. I've got
And
no
I'm
one
just like,
around me to take my anger out on.
my partner's non-binary. That makes me queer. Like, be nice to me.
Be nice. Be nice. Yeah.
But yes. So wait, what was the name of the episode again?
All those who wander.
Yeah, man. Great name. Great
Yeah.
name for an episode. I always know that it's a good name for an episode because one of us will forget it in a panic.
Yeah. Both of
This
us,
week,
half the
this week it
time.
was me. Yeah, this week it was me. So it must be a good title.
Yeah. I still can't. I'm not good at relating it to the episode, but it's a good
Uh,
title.
it's I do it at the end of every show, and I don't necessarily think I'm good at it. I'm
Yeah.
just making it up as I go. I don't plan that. I actively try not to plan it. I want to come up with it on the spot.
We'll see how we get there by the end of the
Yeah, man.
episode. See what you've got.
See what I've got, eh?
Yeah. Do we want to do non-spoilery thoughts on the episode to begin with?
No, let's do spoilers first, and
We
then
did
we'll
last
do
week,
non-spoilers
so-
at the end.
Yeah. What did you
Yes.
think of the episode, Ethan?
Good fun. Low. I mean, I say low stakes, but I just mean small stakes. Like, bottle
Yeah.
episode.
Hmm.
Everything that happens in this episode is relatively contained. Well, for the most part.
Yeah.
But this episode has a clear beginning, middle, and an end.
Hmm.
It was good fun. No, very little deep meanings to be read from it. The way I see Star Trek is, you get two flavors of Star Trek. You get deep and meaningful, and then you get a fun romp.
Hmm.
This episode was a fun romp.
See, I picked up more meaning second watch through. So for people who don't know, I desperately I give up on work for a day every Thursday and watch the episode twice because I'm a masochist, just to get the notes down of what actually happens in the episode. So I think I picked up on something I didn't have first time on the second watch, but let's see if it's possibly something you picked up on and just disregarded anyway.
Potentially.
Yeah,
Like
it could
like
be.
I always plan to watch it twice, but like the way my brain works is once I've done that,
Yeah,
I just can't do it again.
yeah.
Like,
It suddenly becomes boring.
it's not
the
even
ADD
that.
brain.
It's like, well, I've done that.
Yeah.
I've done that already.
Hmm.
Don't make me do it again.
I just need to stop watching them as I eat, because normally it's breakfast while watching it first time and dinner while watching it second time.
Yeah.
So all the notes are, you can tell if there's a gap in the notes when I was actually like shoveling stuff into my face. So if there's any gaps people pick up on, I had a fork in my face or a spoon in my mouth. What can I say?
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
On my side, I thought it was a pretty strong episode. It felt like a bit like a season finale to me. For a
Yeah, I
couple of
get what you
reasons.
mean there. Yeah.
Um,
Especially the like when you get to the end of the episode,
Yeah,
and like there's a lot. There's one or two moments that remind me of like the end of Cheers, where they walk out and they turn around and then they go, turn the lights
Yeah.
off. Yeah,
We're
there's a couple of
closed.
those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn the sound down.
it comes close to me to being too much of a pastiche on the main thing it's referencing, a tiny bit, or it gets close to being that, but the character work with Uhura and Lan kind of save it a fair bit,
Definitely.
because it could have just been and I've got in my notes, and it feels very harsh to people who like Doctor Who, but a Doctor Who Christmas special, because there's one that does the same thing that this is referencing and does it's a lot closer to the thing that it's referencing, or it's a pastiche of, than this episode is, I would say. But other than that, I thought it was pretty fast paced for an episode of Star Trek.
Yeah, man. Like
Um,
one of the things that I keep going back to on this series is that the pacing throughout the whole series has just been fantastic. Each episode, I can never tell how long I've been in the episode when I think about it. Every time I look, like when I see how far into the episode I'm in, I'm always surprised as to how far along, or how not far along we are into the episode. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
This,
Again, to keep it vague, the movie that it is most like, wink, wink, it only starts doing that movie about 25 minutes into a 55-minute thing. So it polishes everything off and has some extra stuff at the end, all in half an hour. And you go, right, that's pretty compressed. That is.
Yeah, this could have been longer, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't have noticed that it was longer.
No.
Like the pacing was that good. If they'd have made it longer but stuck with the same pace, like honestly, so. Oh, this series is so good. This is
Yeah.
the best Star Trek series that has been out.
It's
Like
certainly the best first season of a Trek, I reckon.
by far.
Yeah.
It's the best season that's been out since Enterprise. It's definitely better than Enterprise. Deal with it.
Okay.
Deal with it, you Jonathan Archer apologist.
Poor Scott Bakula. You know, what did he do to deserve all this?
I know nothing. He's so good. He's so good. He's so good. Enterprise is really good. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It has great stories, or, you know, potential for great stories. It just doesn't have the best crew a lot of the time. So. And it endorses genocide. But other than that...
Hey, who doesn't?
Anyway, do we want to get on to the episode?
Yeah, let's actually talk about the thing.
But do you want to start with episodes that it's like?
Oh yes, absolutely.
See, I'm not forgetting the structure this week. We are doing it before we actually start.
Good. Someone's got to. So, if you liked Enterprise episode The Expanse, if you like Discovery's Context is for Kings, if you like TOS's Doomsday Machine, The Next Generation Where Silence Has Lease, DS9's Inter Arma Enim Silent Legis, Valiant, or Empire Nor, you will love this episode. If you love the Voyager episode Microvirus, you will like this episode. If you liked the films Alien or Aliens, you will fucking love this episode.
Yeah.
Participation trophy for the zombie film trope of people getting bitten by a zombie and not telling anyone about it. You are going to fucking love this episode. Basically, this episode is a great example of reusing the main ship's set and pretending it's somewhere else.
Yeah. For a horror piece. So Empok Nor is the one that stood out to me, where it's going over to DS9's sister station and there's horror stuff going on there.
Well, I mean, all of them. The Expanse, you're on the, for Enterprises, The Expanse, you're on the Columbia. For the Discovery episode, you're on the Glen.
Yeah.
Doomsday Machine, you're on the something or other. The Yamato for TNG. The DS9 one I like the most. We were talking about it before recording in Inter Arma Enim Silent Legis.
Yeah.
It's a DS9 episode, but Bashir goes to a conference that is held on the Voyager set. I mean, it's held on an Intrepid class ship. They're not saying like, you know, we're holding a medical conference down at Paramount Studios.
Yeah.
And the aliens. This is great. But the one that I want to draw attention to is this is the second time where Macrovirus has cropped up in a if you liked list. So yeah, secret MVP callback, callback MVP. Yeah, we'll call it that.
Yeah, it's the first time in Voyager, Janeway strips down to her, thingy top, her tank top, and handles the rifle and just runs around the ship.
Hey, fucking Janeway's guns in that episode are fucking sick.
Yeah.
Mate, Janeway's so badass.
I mean, she'll kill a crew member if it helps her.
Oh, another, if you like, going back to a thing I love, Cowboy Bebop. Toys in the Attic. That's the name of the episode. That's the name of their alien tribute. Toys in the Attic.
Yeah.
Attic.
And at this point, I will insert, scrolling on the screen as well, the episode of Doctor Who that I said this was a bit like, that Doctor Who copied a bit too much of the alien side. Because I
I
can't
have to
remember
rewatch that episode because I'm just not drawing that connection.
Yeah, they go real heavy on the alien stuff. In fact, there's from memory, and it's been I only watched it once, of course, because it's later season Doctor Who. But there's someone has fallen asleep watching Aliens, and is therefore having a dream about aliens, and they're in that person's dream about aliens.
Oh, yeah.
For a portion of the episode, and it's it's a bit too heavy. It's a bit on the heavy front. Anyway, do we want to actually kick off with the episode itself?
Yeah, man. Let's start with the previously on.
Yeah.
It was a busy previously on Star Trek or whatever, or however they word it. Like, a lot of people being featured in that.
I actually started watching them, not for my first watch through, for the second watch through, so I can discuss them. But from that, and maybe it's because I saw the episode, I've got, this person's going to die, and Spock's going to confess his love. I was like, let's see how close we get to that in the episode, really.
Yep. I'm I'm watching it and I'm thinking, well, that's some pretty ham-fisted foreshadowing. I hope I'm wrong. But that one is kind of, but the main features of it are La'an, Nyota, and then they touch on Chapel and Spock a little bit. So I'm like, wow. La'an, is it a La'an, Nyota, and Chapel episode? And it kind of was.
Yeah, or certainly a La'an and Nyota, so a horror episode is what I've got it in my notes.
Oh my god, have I started calling her by her first name?
She didn't have a first name. How dare you?
That's so over-familiar of me. How rude.
How rude. How rude. I mean, we have started calling Pike Chris sometimes, so it's only fair that we call Uhura Nyota at some point.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I call him Chewie, R2, 3PO. That's fine.
Yeah, they're pets or machines. You can call them anything you want.
Come on, boys.
Yeah. But beyond the previously on, we kick the episode off with an Uhura log.
Her second log.
Yeah.
Fucking Ortega isn't getting a log.
No.
Ortega isn't getting a log. Hemmer isn't getting a log.
Yeah.
Because next week, obviously, it's going to be Chris's fucking log again, because, season finale.
We didn't get a Chapel log.
Didn't get a Chapel log.
We didn't get a George Kirk log. My boy, George Kirk.
George Kirk's log is going to begin with, I, George Samuel Kirk, being of sound body and mind, hereby bequeath these possessions upon the moment of my death. That's his log.
My imminent death.
Yes.
But the Uhura log, she's talking about her assignment on the Enterprise, because she's a cadet at this point, obviously, going through training and going through divisions. Her assignment's over. After they complete this urgent mission, she's going back to Earth, and she's still searching for somewhere to actually be. She doesn't know. She doesn't think that she wants to be on the Enterprise, and she doesn't know where she wants to be after this sort of assignment.
And it's such a internal struggle, because from everyone that she interacts with is just constantly telling her how much she belongs on the Enterprise. In this, they're in there, they're having a little bit of a party. Everyone kind of goes into a little group, and she backs off, and Ortegas is like, why are you still afraid of the group? They love you. You've had, in previous episodes, it's talked about in this episode, Hema saying like, where do you think your path lies? And she's like, I don't know. And he's like, you seem to be doing well here.
Yeah.
All, obviously she's dealing with a lot. She's still obviously reeling from the death of her family and worrying about what her place in the universe. But like, it's entirely inside because it's entirely internal because everything external is like shaking her, trying to say like, you should live here.
Yeah.
We think you're great.
But the nice thing is, Pike in that for one of the first episodes, I don't know if it was episode 1, had that whole piece of, where she admitted that she doesn't know if she wants to actually stay in Starfleet. It was just like, it's ballsy to say that. Loads of people fight for the position, but if that's your choice, that's your choice. He was all friendly, and in this one, at that party again, because it's a party for her and Cadet Cheer. We'll be seeing you later.
Totally, yeah.
He comes over to her and he's saying, "Well, have you still haven't decided if you want to stay or not? There's always a position for you on the Enterprise."
I've got in here. There'll always be a place for you, Uhura. Here on the Enterprise for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Until you are in your 90s and still serving Starfleet in the undiscovered country.
No. After the undiscovered country, we know from Picard now that she gets a ship of her own. She becomes a captain. In Picard, there's like where he's seeing to Elnor going off to the academy or whatever. And there's all those things of previous ships, like there's an Excelsior behind them and stuff like that. One of them is Uhura's ship. It says below.
What's it called? Do we know?
Oh, now you're really testing the memory.
I'll Google it.
Yeah, go for Google on that one.
Yeah,
no way I can get that. But she eventually gets a ship of her own at, as you say, 90 years old, because she's old as sin by that point.
Yeah, man.
After Undiscovered Country.
There's a great video on, I think it's SideQuest. Great YouTube channel. It's one of the channels from Rowan J. Coleman, who does great retrospectives on Star Trek. But it's one with his friend that he does some other videos with, and there's a great moment where they're talking about in the voyage home, where Spotty's like, Uhura, I thought you were retired, and they're just joking around going, fucking hell, Uhura, I thought you were dead. Whose funeral was I at?
Yeah.
Shit's old as fuck.
I mean, I feel terrible because I try and edit these quickly, but Nichelle Nichols isn't in the best health at the moment. So at least survive for 24 hours, Nichelle Nichols, so we don't put this out and look completely terrible to you.
Just in case that happens, Nichelle Nichols is wonderful.
Yeah, very nice person. Did a lot by being in Star Trek for women's rights and black rights in the US.
Absolutely.
So it is a good person. It's a good person to have around, and we're sorry if we're sorry you're in ill health.
We're sorry that you're in ill health, and that you may or may not be the victim of elder abuse.
Yeah, that as well. But survive for 24 hours, please, so we don't put this out and look horribly mean.
Yes. Going back to what you were saying about Pike being very diplomatic about Uhura's place on the ship. Another, to counteract that, in I think maybe the same episode where he first mentions that, you also have Spock saying you wouldn't be here if you don't belong.
Yeah.
You would, if you didn't belong here, you wouldn't be here. She belongs on the, and I mean, we know that she belongs on the Enterprise because we've seen the rest of her life, but I mean, I guess it's just, it's just one of those things, maybe.
It's a good personal growth story for the character. We don't want characters that are the exact same as the TOS, versions of them, because if those characters haven't evolved, then what are we doing watching this at all?
Exactly.
Or why would there need to be a character component to these episodes, which there is, thankfully. But this celebration is for Cadet Uhura, Cadet Chana, and a promotion from ensign to lieutenant for Mr. Duke.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, which has got to be a real. I always try and relate it to Harry Kim, of course, who misses out on promotions constantly from ensign.
Yeah, man, it's that easy.
Yeah, it's that easy that you don't even know it's coming, and it just comes like that.
Your boss just brings the thing over to you, and that happened in Voyager.
Yeah.
Janeway brought the thing over to Paris. It was like, put this on.
Twice it happened to Paris.
Poor Harry Kim's just looking there. Harry Kim's looking through the history books, going, some guy called Duke got promoted.
Yeah. And he was an idiot.
Yeah, he was. I'm not going to say what I was about to say.
Yeah. We see, not to spoil anything that happens to him, but later in the episode, he pulls out a power core and fries his arm. So he can't be that good a ensign that needed to be a lieutenant or whatever.
I know. And he's in gold as well. A lot of gold uniforms this episode.
Yeah.
I've never noticed so many people wearing gold shirts as I have in this episode. Just people in the background. Duke, some guy in one of the later scenes, some people walking around in the background. A lot of people in gold uniforms. I guess because up until now it's been very kind of clearly like gold is for command.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe now they're going to start maybe changing it up. You know?
I was only thinking at the end of last week though, and it's an aside from it being this episode. I think Strange New Worlds has done well with COVID restrictions because other than one or two pieces where you see other crew members around, or they go to a planet where people are doing yoga or something like that, relaxing, outside the core cast, there isn't many people in the series. There's a couple of people walking past when they capture the Enterprise, but the Enterprise is so empty when they capture it because why go through all the rigmarole COVID-wise? Yeah,
it's implied. It's all implied.
Yeah.
We've taken over the ship. What about all the people? What about all the crew? What did you do with all the crew? We dealt with them.
Yeah, we got them. Those hundreds of people. You see 10 of them. That's fine. They're got. We got them.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You've just got to massage your head cannon muscle. You just got to massage the head cannon muscle and just in your mind imagine lots more people.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, for TOS style episodes, which were mostly bottle episodes, it should be the series that you can kind of brush past a lot of that easily because we're doing this one, it's a bottle episode, we barely need any cast, great, that's fantastic COVID wise. You can see the producers in the background going, yes.
I wonder how many of the background extras were just members of crew. I wonder how many of them were just light Possibly. And sound and grips and stuff. I wonder if there's I wonder if because if I have a film degree.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of in low budget things just being right, who isn't currently doing something?
Yeah.
Go sit over there. You're gonna be in the shot. Yeah.
That's what they normally do for the stunt guys. So throughout TOS, TNG, Voyager, and DS9, anyone in the background, sometimes you see someone and you're like, that guy looks a bit like Tuvok from behind. And you're just like, well, it's Tuvok's stunt guy. Okay, that guy is 7 foot tall and quite, not a slender guy. And you go okay, that's Riker's guy.
Yeah.
That guy's bald. Okay, Picard's guy.
Oh, there's a monstrous giant. Oh, that's someone who's usually in a suit.
Yeah.
Who's in a... Yeah.
Yeah. So there's certainly one that I remember who's just constantly on Voyager, and he's just Tuvok's guy. It's just Tuvok's stunt guy, and you see him for a couple of episodes, and it's just I mean, you're standing them next to each other at this point, and what do you think? We're idiots. They look reasonably the same, or if they were moving quickly, they'd be the same. Don't treat us like idiots, fools. Yeah,
I see you.
I see you.
Even without the pointy ears.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the episode. The Enterprise is on the way to Starbase K7 to take much needed power cells because all power's gone. The environmental controls are going to go off. It's everyone on it's going to die.
That sounds catastrophic.
Yeah.
Like,
it
holy
does.
shit.
What happened to K7?
Well, I mean, if you play Star Trek Online, K7 is fine. But like the idea of getting to that sounds like the plot, like the beginning of a plot of the episode, just on its own. Like, we've got to go and fucking the starbase is gonna fucking fall into the sun. If we don't get the fucking power running. Like, that sounds like a fucking issue that you've got there, mate.
Or what caused all the power to drain from the previous power stuff?
Yeah,
mystery.
How the if there is a slim chance that all the power can be sucked out of the space station, I don't think that the space station should exist.
No.
But whatever, that's the most we really hear about K7.
Yeah, and for all the people who are angry that we haven't said it so far, K7 is the same station as Trials and Tribbles, or Trials and Tribulations, and Trouble with Tribbles. Yeah, there we go.
The Trouble with Trials and Tribulations space stations.
I just cram it into one, and it's really nice into one title. So, we're on route to there, but we get another Priority 1 mission. That is, there's a not a Constitution ship that has crashed on a planet, and we need to go and save the people on it and pull it up, and we're the only ship within range. Classic.
So they're having a little after party while they're discussing this. And Pike's doing the wonderfully fatherly thing of feeding La'an up. He's like, eat this. She's like, I'm not hungry. He's like, eat this.
And we know Pike's a good cook, and La'an agrees, Una agrees, everyone agrees.
It's amazing. I like the way that he just kind of threw his apron on Spock and was like, you're doing dishes.
Yeah.
Loved that. One thing that I've got to comment on when they're talking about going on the mission, Pike makes a joke about a road trip.
Yep.
Spock's like, there are no roads. And he's like, I will turn this car around. And then he clicks his tongs that he's used to give La'an some bacon. And I've just written here, it's like, you're supposed to do the test click.
Yeah, before you
use them.
That's barbecuing 101.
Yeah, man, that's how you know that the tongs work.
Yeah.
By clicking them on nothing for no reason.
Yeah. My note for this was before La'an comes into the scene, Una's saying she's got scheduled personal health time, which we find out is she's seeing Starfleet Recovery Assistance, which is a shrink, a therapist. Yep. So I think, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, it was one of the weeks, it was probably the one with the dead kid. We were talking about, people are going to need some time to get over this. And I was saying, well, they've definitely got it on TNG ships, but we find out that there must be a counsellor, or she's remoting into a counsellor.
Yeah.
From far away on the Enterprise.
Yeah, I wonder because it's emotional trauma, whatsits and everything. I'm wondering if is that like a continuous thing that La'an has to do, like just because of her previous past life trauma.
Yeah.
Or if that's because, or if she's having to do it because of stuff that's happened this series, or if it's just a prerequisite for anyone in Starfleet.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
No.
It's you'd like to think Starfleet looks after people's mental health as well as their physical health.
Yeah, well,
It's
that's
the
that's
22nd century or whatever.
yeah, that's the point that Roddenberry was making with putting Troy in TNG. He was like, they will understand in the future that mental health is as important as physical health. So yeah, I guess maybe they probably have to go to a counselor regularly in the same way that they have to like exercise regularly.
Yeah.
Well, some
Yeah.
of them
Well, some of them.
have to exercise regularly.
Yeah. Riker's exercise is, how much can he straddle something?
Yeah.
Can he get his leg over a chair? That's enough exercise for him.
Yeah.
But the mission has changed, and we've got to save this Sombra class ship, which is built from the same parts as a Constitution. So then we don't have to work on any of the sets. Of course.
Yes, love that. It's the very. I think it's Mbenga who says like, "Yeah, I served on that ship. It's built from the same parts as the Constitution class."
Yeah.
Irrelevant. Not necessary to point out. That's like me saying like, "I've been to that house. It's made of bricks."
Yeah.
Like this one.
No. I've got it. I've got in mind. So, I've got two reasons. I've got an in-universe reason and an out-of-universe reason why they don't want to just make it a Connie.
Right.
So the out-of-universe reason, so our world reason, is because we know all the names. I think from all the constitutions.
Right. Okay. So.
Yeah. And
Memory Alpha would have had to add that to the list.
No, in one of the episodes of TOS, you see all the names of 14 constitutions on the board, and it's like the Defiant, the Exeter, the whatever, the Enterprise, and you go like, okay, they pretty much point at it and go like, these are all the constitutions that we have, or these are the ships that we have.
Right.
So maybe they didn't want to make it and then go, well, it could be destroyed by the end of the episode. You never know. It's not the Defiant, which ends up flying again. And the in-universe reason I've got. So, Discovery Season 1, which is, 2-3 years before this, maybe? There was the Klingon War, and the Klingons were pretty much at the gates. They were near Earth by that time, including the first episode, or, the first two-parter of Discovery. They blow up 12 Federation ships.
Yeah.
So the Federation must just be going like, how many ships can we print as quickly as we can?
What parts do we already have?
What parts do we have? Okay,
how can we stick them together?
We've got stuff from a Constitution that was left over from this, Let's just stick it together. Off, ready to go.
I'm cool with that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. So that's what I've got as my in-universe explanation.
I have adopted that into my headcanon.
Headcanon accepted by Ethan. I can take that. But La'an provides, they ask La'an for how to deal with, we've got K7 running out of power and we've got this ship down. And she comes up with, well, send the Enterprise on to K7 and let's go down to the ship in a couple of shuttles and get it running again. Which, of course, is what they do and was probably already the plan anyway. But if you can give your team chance to come up with the same idea as you on their own, that's great.
Classic Pike move.
Well, that's management
Classic
101.
Pike move.
If you can influence your team to come up with the same idea that you already had, that's fantastic management.
Yep, absolutely. Never ask another business rule that I know from movies. Never ask a question that you don't know the answer to.
Yeah. That's a lawyer one as well. I know that.
Is that maybe where I know it from? Yeah, maybe.
I know. Do you know the channel Legal Eagle? They talk.
That's where I know. That's where I'll have picked it up from.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you find that channel based on his reading of Measure of a Man as well?
I was on it before Measure of a Man.
Oh, right. Okay.
But go watch it, people who are watching this who haven't watched it before, because it's a good piece. I think he tries to relate too much of Federation law to current U.S. Constitution. And you're like, well,
yes, but that's his thing. The guy from Legal
Yeah.
Eagle, he's a United States constitutional lawyer. That's his
Yeah.
bag, you know, yeah, he does. He kind of skips over a lot of the deeper meaning, but in that episode of his show, he does say like, "I'm not a philosopher,"
yeah,
and he talks about like the deeper philosophical discussion. Like he doesn't go into it, but what he says is quite profound when he's saying like the discussion on the philosophy is a big discussion that I just can't get into in one of these videos. And like, yeah, that's fair.
not for a 20-minute video from him.
No.
He also does good videos on the Always Sunny. He's
Yes.
got at least 2 good Always Sunny videos.
Yeah.
So go watch those as well. If you
Yeah,
like
his
Always
thing,
Sunny.
he goes through movies and the legal proceedings that happen in movies. I will say his videos have like the funniest like embedded ads, like in a YouTube video where they go, and now we're gonna do an ad, and then he's talking about an ad. He's talking about like he's flogging discounts on like $500 suits, and it's like, oh, you fuck, Jesus Christ, like such
Indochino, isn't it?
Yeah, such an upper crust like flag. Like, never mind fucking Raycons or Manscaped. It's like, use this Legal Eagle discount code to get discount from a $500 suit to a $399 suit.
Yeah.
Holy
I tell
shit,
you what,
dude.
I probably can't promise for the both of us that we'll never sell out ever, but I'm pretty sure that we'll never sell out for Indochino $500 suits, unless they want to send us 2.
Yeah, maybe we'll sit in our fucking homes. We'll sit in our homes, wear a fucking freshly pressed suit.
Yeah.
I promise I'll put it on and take it off immediately after.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to, use up the suit's power too quickly.
No.
That's going to be the suit for life then.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So we get 2 shuttles heading down to the planet in a nice CG shot. It is really nice.
The CG
great particle
throughout this
effects.
episode. Yeah, the CG throughout this episode is fantastic.
And the character work. The alien work when it's not CG, the one that isn't CG, is fantastic, really.
Really is.
But we get down to the USS Peregrine, which is NCC 1549. There we go. And it's on the edge of a chasm.
And the team that we've got going down is an interesting team because it's everyone. Pike.
Over the
Spock,
Nuna.
Uhura. Yeah. So Una's not down. Una and Ortegas are both still on the Enterprise. But aside from that, we've got Pike, Uhura, Spock, Hammer, Mbenga, George motherfucking Kirk.
Sam Kirk.
Sam Kirk. It's George Samuel Kirk.
It's George Samuel, yeah, sorry.
So he's going by Samuel.
Yeah.
We
also get Lieutenant Duke, the guy that was just promoted, and Cadet Chia.
Yes. Both of which are completely safe.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Chia has finished her cadet training and Duke has gotten promoted. They are both in for long and fruitful lives.
Yeah. Chia is one day away, not from retirement, but she's one day away from leaving the Enterprise, pretty much. So, of course, she's going to go on this away mission.
Yeah, let's go on this super foreboding away mission.
Yeah. But I like once they get onto the planet, Hemmer steps out and everyone's got hoods up and is like this. And Hemmer's like, the wind reminds me of Andoria. Because it's, this frozen planet.
Taking that sea breeze, boys.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Love that.
He sounds so much like Shran as well at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think that, like Hemmer throughout this series, whenever we've actually had Hemmer, he is, his whole thing has been like, be a dick
Yeah.
and have little moments of heart
Yeah.
and like wisdom and like he's a dick who doesn't like his environment. Everything's too hot, and like the second he gets out onto this planet, he's like, take it in.
Yeah. Take it in, boys.
Everyone.
Yeah.
And it's like, he was just too hot.
That's salty fresh air. Take it in, boys.
He wasn't being rude.
Yeah.
He was like the lion with the thorn in his paw.
Oh.
From the Bible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
From the Bible.
And, I'm so happy that he's going to live a long and fruitful life.
Yeah, man.
But alas, we're walking towards the Peregrine, and there's blood on the rock, and there's blood in the ship, and the internal comms of the ship is down, and the ship is, completely broken, and everything is wired to engineering. And what's fucking happened to this ship?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they alluded to it in the previously on bit.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. They allude to things. Wait, can I get the voice right? They allude to things in the opening previously on, mostly.
What's happening? What's happening right now?
I'm doing that. They come at night mostly, but they allude to things.
You're doing the little girl, the little girl from
doing
Aliens.
Mute. Yeah.
They come at night mostly. Is she English?
I don't know. She's probably Canadian,
I think you're doing the twins from The Shining. Come play with us, Jenny, forever and ever.
No, I'm doing a reference to Newt, and I can't remember what show it is, but where they come mostly at night. Mostly. It's that pause between the mostly again that's great. But the ship had originally 99 crew, so a bit smaller than the Enterprise. Somehow, apparently, it's made of the same parts, but it's got less people in. It's faster somehow. Who knows? And 20 of them are dead outside, including the captain. Oh no!
Not good.
Not good.
I would say not ideal.
It's not a positive sign that
This
things are going well.
rescue mission is off to a fucking great start. Isn't it?
Yeah. And they start going, well, maybe they were attacked by wildlife outside. You go like, what fucking wildlife?
What wildlife?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That is what you call magical thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe if I will it hard enough, this won't be a danger to us.
Slight danger still. Slight danger. So Pike manages to start the computer by hitting it and asks for the last captain's log, the recording, and it starts mentioning that they picked up 3 castaways, a human girl, a humanoid of unknown origin, and an Orion. And the Orion was infected by Gorn eggs that hatched, and he set off a bomb to try and end it, so probably end himself, which set off an automated distress signal to the Federation. But if the captain had her way, she'd say to the Federation, don't come to Beta 5, whatever it is, Vega Beta 5 or something Beta 5.
This is Vega Beta 5!
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got in my notes, like earlier on in the thing, I've got like Gorn, question mark,
Yeah.
and then a bit further down the page, Gorn.
Gorn. Yeah.
Gorn?
Gorn.
Gorn.
Thank you very much, previously on. That it's why,
Yes.
On the first watch I just avoid previously ons as much as possible.
Hey, I may have to. I think I'm going to. I probably won't skip it because that's too much of a faff from the
Yeah.
way that I illegally watch Star Trek on my phone and stream it to my TV.
Yeah.
But what I'll probably do next week is just la 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 la. Well, it's the previously on. Yeah,
Yes.
just yeah. Ah,
So
see
you
no
don't
evil,
see
hear no evil.
Lon dealing with the Gorn.
Yeah.
Whatever. So naturally, because there's a potentially super strong killer on the loose in this ship, they split up into different groups.
Well, I mean, you got to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel for Mbenga in this because if he's watched any, 21st century horror movies, he's got to be scared as shit.
Definitely.
You know.
If anyone doesn't know what we're referring to, it is the 1980s through to the 1990s horror cinematic
beyond that,
trope
yeah.
of killing the black person first.
Yeah.
However, Mbenga does the clever thing, and he makes sure to stay with a group and out of trouble.
Yeah. He's staying with the biggest group pretty much.
Yep.
And
Yep.
he's
Wise.
yeah. Anytime that Pike moves, he's moving with Pike. So
Yep. I'm just gonna stay with the main character.
yeah. What could go wrong?
Yeah. But also, like, there is that, but also there is, right up at this point, there is, have they found them yet? Yeah, I'll save that for.
No,
for
we
a
can
minute.
we can go straight onto it. So they use their sensors and they detect two life signals, life whatevers on the ship, and they go down to them, and it is a grunt from Halo by the look of it.
Right, so is that the connection you're making
That's the connection
to
I'm making.
this alien, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna find. So, it took me all day to realize what this.
Go for it. I'll
unknown
Google it.
humanoid.
Yeah.
Unknown humanoid, right? So, a thing that I like is, and I may be showing my ass a bit here. I like Super Sentai. Do you know what Super Sentai is?
Not a fucking clue.
So, Super Sentai is the Japanese TV show that Power Rangers is based on. If you ever watch Power Rangers, you are like when they're in the suits, those are clips from a Japanese TV show, and then everything where it's, where they're out of the suits, that stuff they film. The Japanese show that Power Rangers is based on is fucking insane. It's mental. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird. It's at times wildly inappropriate for children.
On Japanese TV, say it isn't so.
Totally. So, as an example, in the series Go Sei Sentai Dire Ranger, which is one of the series that they base the original Power Rangers on, it's where they get the when Tommy becomes the White Ranger.
Best Ranger.
Totally. In Sentai, the White Ranger is when he's in human form, he's a little boy. And when he first gets his powers, he uses it to go and be a horrible creep. And he's using, like, White Ranger wind powers to flip up a bunch of girls' skirts and shit. And then he's like, ha!
Creepy,
Yes! Yeah. And runs off. He's like, whoosh, whoosh, yes! And legs it.
Yeah.
It's, like, wholly inappropriate. Anyway, in a much later series, Juken Sentai Geki Ranger,
Okay.
their mentor is Master Shafu.
Okay. Looks like a cat. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like that. The alien in this episode is definitely more scaly. This guy's a big fluffy cat man
Yeah.
who's super wise.
Okay. Yeah, I was getting the Halo grunt because he was like purple and blue as well.
Let me have a look. Halo grunt. Okay, yeah, so this alien in this episode of Strange New Worlds is the love child
Yeah.
of Master Shafu from Geku Ranger and this fucking thing.
Yeah. Unpleasant looking bastards, really.
Yeah.
But the universal
Wait, is
translate
that what the fucking aliens in the Halo series are supposed to be as well?
that's like the small, like easy to defeat ones.
I don't play Halo, but
Some of them are
that's
okay.
not what those look like.
Yeah, there's the big tall ones as well, whatever they're called. Come at me, Halo people. I can't remember stuff. But the universal translator's not working, so Uhura apparently is the only one who has any sense when it comes to how species work. And she says there's 2 life signals. Maybe it's protecting someone. Let's lower our weapons and be seen as friends.
Yeah, we do not speak the same language, but we will make a gesture to show that we mean no harm.
Yeah.
There's a great in the last series of like the original Vikings when they go to North America, they meet a Native American tribe, and there is like a bit of a standoff where they're all very unsure of each other, and one of the natives just walks out with his hands up, takes an arrow, breaks it in half, drops it on the ground.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
Yeah, I get that. Okay.
Show you're not the enemy.
Not the enemy.
Yeah.
I like that.
But we get led in and find Newt from Aliens.
Yeah, Newt from Aliens.
Yeah.
Played by one of the zombie kids from The Expanse.
Yep. So we were talking just before we started the show, and her brother in The Expanse was the first servant from the episode with the really long title, whatever that was. And now she's in it.
To lift us up where we belong.
Yeah.
Or love, yeah, that was it. Love, lift us up where we belong.
Yeah.
No, that's
there was something on the end of that title, I think, but it was lift us up from where suffering shall not reach, or something like that.
Lift us where suffering cannot reach, not love, lift us up where we belong. That actor's name. But yeah, so it's Ian Ho who plays Zahn in The Expanse, and he plays the first servant in Love, Lift Us Up Where We Belong. And I believe it is his sister, because they both have the same name.
Okay.
And they've previously played a brother and sister. It's Emma Ho who is in this episode playing Newt from Aliens.
I wonder if that's potentially a COVID thing as well.
It would be...
because it must be easier to get actors who are, child actors who are siblings, because then you're not bringing in 2 different families or whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting. But anyway, at the same time, we get Spock getting medicine for Lieutenant Duke, who's managed to burn his arm because he's a Class A idiot.
Yeah, man. Like, great stuff.
Yeah.
Fucking, I love the way when we get into that scene that it's George Kirk who's like, that was a full current, man.
Yeah.
Like, that was dangerous. I would know. Let me tell it. And he just starts listing off all the times he's been electrocuted.
Yeah.
Like,
George Kirk is probably the sort of guy who thinks, with snake venom or poison, if you ingest a small piece of it, you can become more immune. He's doing that with electricity. He's like shocking himself with increasing voltages.
Mate, that's a full current. All right, you got to start small.
Start high voltages
you
and then build.
Little electric shocks and build up to the full current. Definitely.
Yeah.
Before that happens, though, we get because they found this weird bunny lizard and this little girl, and Mbenga, La'an is shouting at this girl, where are they? What the fuck's going on? Tell me.
Yeah.
And Mbenga's like, stop yelling at my daughter.
Yeah. And
holy shit, man.
Yeah. And he's like, my daughter. Ooh. Not my daughter.
Not my daughter, my patient.
Yeah. At some point, I suppose Mbenga told the crew, other than Una, about his daughter, because otherwise La'an should go like, what daughter?
Well, I mean, she was kind of saying that with her face a little bit, where she's like, but I mean, I guess she's probably just chalking it down to like when a kid accidentally calls a teacher mum.
Yeah.
Because it's
Stop it, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Sad.
And
sad and Mbenga.
That scene, we find out that the girl's name is Oriana, and she's nicknamed the grunt as Bugly.
Bugly,
Bugly, which is a nice, cute name, I suppose.
isn't it?
Let's hope nothing happens to him. But after where M'Benga shouts at Lan to stop interrogating his daughter or harassing his daughter, he goes in and says, the orchestra, we build emotions out of that. And Lan's going, kind of like ready to fight on it. He's going, no, I was the one who was too emotional. You probably need to be there to show Oriana. I'm going to get it wrong every time I say it, obviously.
Just say Newt.
The girl.
That's what I'm going to call. I'm going to be calling her Newt.
You're going to... you survived the Gorn attack and you were in Newt's position, so you need to show her that there's something more than life. There's something after the Gorn attack that you can look forward to, rather than just escaping and surviving or whatever.
Yeah, man.
Good.
I've got written in my notes there. I've just got, holy shit, M'Benga. That's nice, and he's right.
Yeah.
Like, of all the people in that away team, the person that can help that girl the most is Lan.
Yeah. But at the same time as we've got that happening, we've got Hema and Uhura in engineering, or below engineering, because that's the set they prefer to use. Uhura's talking about her drifting and moving on potentially after this mission, which obviously you want to talk about in a horror situation, in a horror movie.
Yeah, you definitely want to talk. You want to say all of your plans for the future out loud.
Yeah, I'm just one day away from retirement.
Yeah, I'm just one day away from retirement. I've got my whole life ahead of me. You better. All I'm gonna say is, if you're gonna be saying shit like that out loud, you're gonna want some fucking cannon fodder littered around.
Yep. Well, fortunately, ... But Hema, they're discussing what Uhura's issue is with staying put somewhere, and Hema, probably correctly, since they seem to work together well as a team and know each other one of the most out of the group, seems to know Uhura most. He's saying
Hemura, they're a great pet.
They say later on.
Yeah.
That his impression of her isn't that she has trouble making friends or that she doesn't want to, but she's got fear of putting down roots, because if those people leave, like her parents died, then that's going to be very, very sad. And he says, and I'll quote, "Of course, the people you love are going to cause you pain, but the love it wields will far outweigh the sorrow," which is nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wonderful, fatherly thing to say. Absolutely.
And she does say that Hema was a bit reminded her of her father later on in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Spock's just bumbling around the ship, doing whatever, and sees blood stain leading to a grate, and is very jumpy for Spock, really.
Mm-hmm.
He's seeing something was dragged into the vents, and he's M'Benga comes behind, or Pike comes behind, puts a shoulder on, and he's ready to ready to
go. Well, you're awfully jumpy, Spock. Captain, I think we might be in a horror movie.
Yeah, we're in a horror movie, M'Benga. You're the black guy. If this is an 80s horror movie, you're probably going to die in the next 10 minutes. Please, M'Benga.
Yes. Please, go. Jesus, God. Someone get a force field for this man.
Yeah. Especially for one who now doesn't have a family, and then he's wandering in there as again, it's the 80s, 90s movie stereotype that still gets reused nowadays. But he's going "Oh, you're jumpy," and it's what are you doing? What are you doing? This is feeding into the "you're going to die in M'Benga" stakes.
What do you mean? What did you think I was, a ghost?
Yeah.
some kind of like.
I'm back.
It's like they've never seen a horror movie before. That's another trope. That's another horror movie trope that they do, like with zombie films,
Yeah.
where like no one in a zombie film has ever seen a zombie film.
And speaking of zombie films, cut back to sick bay, and Bugley's sick. He's he's panting, he's sweating, he's been infected by something, says Chapel. He sees
Yeah.
They see a rash climbing through him, up from his arm. So
Yeah, man, gotta get some. I'm watching that. I'm like, gotta get some Dipra bass. Gotta
yeah,
get some Dipra bass on that, mate. Some Elocon.
yeah.
Bit of
Just squirt
mometazone.
iodine spray
mate.
all
Yeah,
over
mate.
that.
You wanna sort that out.
Yeah. So Chapel goes into the next room to start knocking up whatever. Who knows? Who cares? And we see the little girl in the background clock on and go like, She doesn't say anything, but she's like, I'm gonna leave. She does a noose and just runs away.
Yeah, that was some serious foreboding shit. Where she was just like, I'm gonna go do the thing. I'm gonna go hide under the table.
Yeah.
You know, she gets on a bed, she curls up, she just kind of like, she does that, that trick of, no breathing sounds.
Yeah.
I can't hear you, I can't see you, I'm not here.
Yeah. And then not Lieutenant, Cadet Chia,
Cannon fodder.
Cannon Fodder, Mrs. Cannon
Yeah.
Fodder of the episode,
Yep.
is starting to fiddle at stuff below the desk and saying, oh, are you all right? Person who is obviously struggling and about to, have an alien pop out their stomach.
Yeah, he's seizing up above
Yeah.
the table, and she's just like, "You're out there."
Yeah, you're all right, aren't you? So, of course, the Gorn hatch out of him in pretty much exactly like Alien, except outside of his back rather than his front.
Yep. Yep.
For copyright reasons.
Yes. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
4 tiny little Gorn.
Yeah.
They're kind of cute.
They are
They're
kind of
big
cute.
eyes. They look like little chameleons.
And one eats the other one
Immediately
straight
eats the
away.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he kind of learns straight away that they can be, it's not carnivorous.
Bastards. Little
Well,
bastards.
they can be bastards. They can be
They
bastards.
can be little fuckers.
Yeah.
But yeah, she just like and that poor cadet, victim of being introduced immediately before she gets fucking murdered to fuck.
Yeah.
Little fucking thing just comes and rips her fucking throat out.
Yeah.
Like she is dead as fuck. Like that.
Yeah. I much prefer the little alien that breaks through in Spaceballs. The one that does the, hello, my lady. Hello,
Oh
what's up?"
my honey. Oh yeah,
the
totally.
hat. We didn't
Yep.
get that, unfortunately.
No.
But
But
the
maybe the crew of the whatever this ship's called did.
Peregrine, yeah.
Yeah, maybe the crew
I'm
of the
so close to
Peregrine.
calling it the
Maybe
Penguin.
that's what drove
constantly.
everyone outside.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, he's doing ragtime gal.
But one of the Gorn starts going after Chapel, and we see that it's got predator vision and predator noises
Yeah.
in it. So
Yep.
it's like,
So it's like Alien and Predator. If
Yeah.
only they could bring those two franchises together.
yeah, what would it be like? Probably one not so horror movie that's okay, and then one movie that's shot completely in darkness.
Yeah, that's how I'd do it.
Yeah, yeah. That's how you bring the big money in. That's how you bring those dollars in.
But yeah, she did. Chapel's all right though. She does the old Thomas.
Yeah,
Thomas, get that mouse.
yeah. Jumps onto the biobed and puts up the shields to protect herself for a bit.
Yep.
Which is all nice. Which is all nice.
So resourceful, Chapel.
Yeah.
Very resourceful nurse.
Resourceful woman, really.
Mhm.
Cut to the main group of Pike, Spock, Duke, and I don't know who else.
Kirk.
Oh yeah, Sam Kirk's there as well. Again,
Yeah,
my boy Sam
this-
Kirk.
Yeah, so they're dealing with his burns, with
Yeah.
Duke's burns.
Yeah.
Fucking Kirk's like, listen, I've been electrocuted a fucking dozen times, mate. You want to
Yeah.
be more careful.
And they've propped him up against a Jeffries tube, so they've propped him up against a hole in the ceiling, really. So what could happen here? Of course, a Gorn comes down again and drags him
Straight
away.
for the fucking throat, man.
Yeah.
I've got like written down like I'm guessing he got attacked by two.
Yeah, they do say it
He
was
got
two
attacked
that
by
got him.
two of them
Yeah.
that got him because those tiny little Gorn pull that. I'm sorry, very large man.
Larger than most on
He's
Star
a big
Trek.
guy.
Yeah.
He's one of the biggest people I've seen in a Starfleet uniform.
Oh, don't say that
He
when
gets-
Riker exists. I feel like we're
Well,
besmirching.
Riker's as you know, as tall as he is broad.
Okay,
that-
maybe. Earlier on, he's certainly as tall as he is broad. When they
Yeah.
pretend in Enterprise that he's in the 6th season or something like that, and they cram him in there like a sausage. They're like, "No, you look fine in that uniform, Mr. Frakes."
Yeah, but like that was just a one-time thing. If you go to
Yeah.
Memory Alpha, it says that in 2382 or whatever, Riker gained loads of weight and aged 20 years for an afternoon, and then the next day he had dropped some weight and had become much younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the stress of the Pegasus incident, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
A thing I would like to point out. So, as the episode goes on, these Gorn get bigger, but
Pretty
they
quickly.
are very quickly, very dangerous in their infancy, which just made me go, just like real aliens. So part of the folklore of grey aliens here in the real world
Yeah.
is that when grey aliens are children, they are extremely dangerous and highly uncontrollable.
Yeah.
There is an episode of The X-Files where they deal with it.
Okay.
And there is a story by a man who supposedly worked at Area 52.
Whatever his name, it's like Lazarus or something like that, isn't it?
No, not Bob Lazar, different
Bob
guy.
Lazar.
I'll talk about him one day on this pod.
Yeah.
I've got some ideas for an episode written, but he's a fun guy. He's a fun guy. He's kind of like if Elmer Fudd worked for the Men in Black. And in it, he's out in the desert and he sees one of these aliens, and he goes over to talk to him because he knows them. And then the alien starts running towards him, and he's like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And another one of the aliens is like, "Fucking run! Get the fuck! What are you doing? You're not supposed to be in this part. Fucking run!" Because when greys are in infancy, they are rabid beasts.
Okay. I will trust your knowledge on grey aliens more than mine.
They are from Zeta Reticuli.
I mean, aren't we all?
No.
No. I thought ancient aliens, Chariot of the Gods.
That's the Anunnaki.
Okay.
You are confusing the greys of Zeta Reticuli with the Anunnaki, who are from many systems.
Okay. Yeah.
There's also two different species of reptilians, but
Well, yeah, there's the Queen and then
yes,
there's other people.
yes.
But we have Chapel, who's looking for Aurelia, Oriana,
Newt.
yeah. But La'an comes in and she's counting the holes in Bugley's body and saying there are 4 hatchlings, one has killed the other here, so there's 3 more left, and they'll mature soon, and somehow they avoided sensors when you were scanning them. Let's try and find the girl or whatever. And in that scene, I'm going to point out that the stupidest canon connection I've got this week is on one of the bio beds. There is the silver blanket from TOS. That weird silver, like slightly patterned blanket that looks really thin. It's like a sheet of aluminum.
What, like the ones they give runners?
Well, it's kind of like that, but they've got it on one of the bio beds, and I was like, pause, back 10 seconds. Ooh. So that's my stupidest canon connection of the week.
Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah. How many people are out there counting blankets or looking at blankets?
Couples that are about to move into a new home.
Yeah. Me.
Like
the end.
You. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's at this point though that I'm wondering like why they don't comms to each other. And La'an says like the ship comms are down.
Yeah, I think it's because it's an atmosphere thing. I think because they can't radio each other.
But they're inside the ship. Surely the walkie-talkie feature of
ship's fucked though, innit?
No, but the walkie-talkie feature of their own communicators should be able to connect to one another.
Atmosphere things, innit?
Yeah, because poor Uhura and Hema have no fucking idea there's Gorn on the ship.
Yeah, man. 2 people have just been murdered.
Yeah.
And they're making jokes about what a winning team they are.
Yeah. And we find out somewhat later that the Gorn hate cold, and they're down in engineering booting stuff up. Yeah, they're flipping all the switches to turn the heat on and all that. And it's like,
man. Get this fucking
Christ,
motor running.
idiots.
Let's warm some shit up in this bitch. Like, yeah, man, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Worst fucking case scenario. Like, oh my god. Engineering's full of Gorn. This is exactly what we didn't want to happen.
La'an and Chapel start going to where they found the girl originally.
Before we go on to finding them, I want to say I tried Googling it and there isn't like a transcript and I couldn't get a copy of the episode with subtitles.
Yeah.
But I'm fairly certain that La'an uses the term younglings to describe these Gorn babies.
Really?
And I'm just like, oh man, the one time we need Anakin Skywalker to slaughter some younglings.
Yeah. Easily mow through them.
Younglings?
He masks a smile. He masks a laugh.
Man, I tell you what. Fucking... Those are some babies that needed fucking aborting.
Yeah.
I'm saying it. Abort those fucking babies, that's for sure.
Do we want to talk, if we're talking about horrible children then, do we want to talk about how have a little side and say Strange New Worlds hates kids?
Totally! Totally! Strange New Worlds hates kids in the same way that Star Wars hates animals.
Yeah. If you're a beast in Star Wars, you might as well be a kid.
You are fucked. If you are a child in Strange New Worlds, you are doomed.
So let's top them up. We've got Umbenga's kid who had a terminal disease and is potentially away with a paedophile Nebula.
Yep.
We've got the first servant who is plugged into a machine. They shoveled off the last kid and they shoveled in the first servant to the machine that will kill him. We've got Newt, who has just gone through horrific stuff. We've got La'an, who just went through horrific stuff as a kid as well.
Yep.
And we've got these...
We've got Pike, the kids.
Oh,
the
of
kids
course,
that Pike's obsessing over. These kids are going to have to live with the trauma of their mentor sacrificing himself for them.
Yeah.
I mean, they will be adults when that happens, but right now they're kids.
And then we've got these Gorn kids who, the second they, pop up, Or like, let's kill those kids straight
Let's
away.
abort these fucking babies.
Yeah. I've got in my notes, though, I wonder if these Gorn kids can be hooked up to the Cloud City machine.
Oh, yeah,
Synergy.
synergy.
Yeah.
Help, like, it's a solution. It benefits us all.
Yeah. We don't
Hell
want
yeah.
to kill any kids, including Gorn kids. If we can leave them on a planet by themselves, that's great. But at the same time,
These kids fucking suck.
we're going to have to kill these kids if we can plug them
Yeah,
into a
man.
machine instead.
Yes. And they are, the way they are presented.
Yeah.
These Gorn babies are clearly highly intelligent. They are
Yeah.
sneaky,
Yeah.
you know?
They're
It takes
tactical. They have
intelligence to be-
tactics built into them. Yeah.
Exactly. They're highly intelligent children.
Yeah. La'an even says they're going to kill each other and they'll be left with the strongest and the smartest left. Because there's this weird alpha thing with Gorn, apparently. So they're all out to kill each other, and that's why the fourth one got immediately murdered by the third one out. So,
Yep.
fantastic, I suppose. But we find the girl in the coldest bit of the ship because the girl is a bit smart as well. She's a bit like Newt.
Survivor.
Yeah, she knows to not go out at night, mostly. Mostly.
They don't come into the cold, mostly.
Mostly. But La'an starts having, words with this girl, and the girl saying, we leave here and we die, and La'an saying, there's surviving and there's living.
Mm-hmm.
So put a pin in this for what I'll return to as the meaning of the episode or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll come back to it. But as we said, Team Hemora is rebooting the ship, and the second they do it, a Gorn arrives and squirts Hemmer in the face, pretty much, or all over the neck, with venom sacs because they're lizard people.
Yeah,
things.
man. And now I was like, oh no. Ooh.
Yeah.
Just
Not
think,
good.
like, I'm thinking it's acid, and it does burn.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, acid
Hemmer's
burning.
saying it's extremely painful. So, cut back to, because Pike said for them all to meet back in sickbay, we have half the crew there already, and Spock's saying, the ice storm's there, we can't leave the ship, and Sam Kirk, or George Kirk, is going fucking mental.
Yeah,
He-
man. Game over, man.
Game
Game
over.
over.
He's more than any episode. I know that people already said first episode that he appeared, he looked like Guy from Galaxy Quest, just because he had the moustache. But in this episode where he's just like, oh man, I'm gonna die,
Yeah, man.
He is 100% Guy, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I was also getting a lot of Chris Pine Kirk.
Yeah.
There's, Spock's like, they're talking, Spock's being all logical. He's talking about the Gorn's ability to adapt
Yeah.
to their environment. It's quite impressive. And he's like, impressive? Do you have any feelings? And it
Yeah.
just reminded me of when Kirk's yelling at him in Star
09,
Trek
yeah.
09 when he's like, you never loved her.
Yeah. Trying to
You
bring
know.
out Spock's emotions.
Yeah, it reminded me of that scene quite a lot.
Yeah, I've got that here as well. But all the crew comes back together, including Hemmer and whoever. And La'an starts doing a tactical analysis, saying there'll be two of them left because the ones we've counted that we've killed. They're going to fight for dominance now, and the smartest and most intelligent will live. Blah blah blah. And are you ready for a second pin to stick in? Pike says, we can work together, that's our advantage. Versus the Gorn are going to fight each other to get dominance and be the alpha of the pack.
Okay.
The pin is, we can work together, that's our advantage. And Uhura comes up with the idea of making them come to us, we'll be the bait, and we'll force them into a cold area because they don't like that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we go to I won't do all the cutting backwards and forwards, but suffice to say, there's a plan for getting the Gorn together, the two of them. And,
yeah, man, we have a bit of a Scooby-Doo booby trap.
Yeah. They're
Set-
running
setting
through
it-
doors
setting
and
it up.
shutting doors behind them to
Yep.
get them together. And the only point of that's any note in that is Spock is trying to draw a Gorn towards him, and the Gorn just doesn't come.
Yeah, and it's just not
Yeah. It's
not
not
into
interested.
it, not phased.
Yeah, and that's because the Gorn likes people being aggressive to it rather than just firing at it from 10 foot away or whatever.
Fire, yeah, with your he's fucking Spock's got a
Yeah,
Martok staff.
he's nicked that
Blooming-
off.
I know, he's just like
Yeah,
quite like this.
yeah,
I'm having this.
I'll have this.
Yeah, I'm having this.
Yeah.
I like this.
Um,
I love this quote. So he's trying to get the Gorn to follow him, and they're like, "You've got to get him angry. You've got to show that you've got to challenge him."
yeah,
And Spock gives him. It's like he gives himself a flashback of Duke being dragged off,
yeah,
and he says, "Rage that is in my thoughts, I let into my heart."
yeah.
And then he has like this, like,
Yeah,
and I'm like, that makes sense
yeah,
to me, because like the Vulcans are obviously, they're all about controlling emotions, and I can't believe I've never thought of this. This has never crossed my mind. I can't believe we haven't seen this before. But yeah, surely if you can control your emotions, then you must be able to control the release of those emotions and be able to tap into them should you need them. You know,
Spock more
like,
than any other Vulcan as well, being
more
half
than
human.
anyone. And like when he says "rage that is in my thoughts, I let into my heart," that is that is clearly a practiced axiom.
Yeah,
So like there must be like, a means by which Vulcans can utilize the emotions that they keep buried down inside. And I guess like in war, like you would need that. You need aggressive soldiers. And I mean, like most war that we see in Star Trek is ship v ship, but
yeah,
there's got to be ground battles going on sometimes, and yeah, you would need Vulcans that are maybe getting a bit fucking ragey.
All I can think now is, do you reckon before he shags to Paul, not to Paul, to Pring, he does the lust that is my
lust that
thoughts,
is in my
let into my
thoughts.
heart, and he's just going like,
Yeah, man.
let's
I
get
don't
it
know.
on.
I think for I think
He probably
more than
whispers
any-
it to himself, like by the
Probably
side.
whispers it to himself. It's less so much about lust as it would be about passion.
Yeah,
Passion that I feel in my heart, I let into my loins. You would either need to do that, or because I'm guessing logical sex is kind of naff, you'd maybe need some tunes going.
yeah. Vulcan symbols. It would be boring Vulcan music though. It wouldn't be like
Maybe.
Barry White going on in the background. It would just be hitting the symbol over and over again.
No, it would be good music.
Yeah.
It would just be that, like, if a Vulcan sat down and explained the mathematical equation as to why the
yeah.
music is nice, you would be like, oh, okay, I kind of don't want to listen to it anymore.
Let me explain to you the sultry tones of Barry White.
Yeah, I'll explain to you why this is good.
Yeah,
Like explaining a joke.
yeah. Classic. Always works. Makes a joke instantly funnier.
Yeah.
But, Spock gets riled up and charges it and screaming and gets the two Gorn together, and George Sam Kirk pulls him away, and Spock is ready to, like, nut him, if not,
Man.
snap his neck straight away.
Yep.
Once the emotions are let out, it's hard to, bring them back in, which is obviously
Yeah.
why the Vulcans don't let them out so often.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely, and they talk about in this episode, like, the reason why Vulcans are so methodical and logical and they're all about repressing their emotions is because they feel their emotions so strongly
Yeah.
when they indulge them that they have to, or they won't get shit done.
Before the teachings of Sirach or whoever it was, You know, they were just pretty much emotion-filled killers.
Yeah.
And the Romulans that broke off became slightly more logical, but still had emotions. And the Vulcans that stayed there just tried to purge all emotion to make themselves like a species that wasn't worth destroying. So,
I always tried to like Vulcans are all about logic. Klingons are about honor. Cardassians are fascists. Try to figure out what Romulan's thing is, and I always thought it was like they're sneaky.
yeah.
But someone I can't remember what I was listening to. I think I was listening to a podcast, and someone pointed out that like they're highly paranoid. I'm like, that's what it is. They're paranoid.
It's paranoid and obedience to the state, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, there's one Gorn left after those two kill each other, and La'an goes to run out and take it to Hemmer, who's sitting next to his box, which we've talked about in previous episodes. It all comes back together.
Yeah, man, he's in his box of coolant.
Yeah, he jumps into that. So I've got in my notes, Hemmer hides in his box! ! And then next line down, I've got La'an hides in a box. You know, shrug face, because I'm like, we weren't as fingers.
Yeah, it's the like.
Yeah.
La'an in box,
La'an
whatever.
box.
Hemmer loves
Hemmer
his boxes
box,
with
yeah.
his little. He loves his little snowflake boxes.
Hemmer, the biggest snowflake on the ship, apparently, only because he likes that.
Well,
box.
I mean, they're all Star Trek's so woke now. Star Trek's so woke now. They're all snowflakes, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes, even the
Wouldn't be
girl,
political.
even the tiny woman who's fucking with her murderous rage.
Yeah.
What a snowflake.
Yeah. Why can't we go back to the non-political days of Star Trek, like before the first episode?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But we hide in the boxes. We lead them to engineering or below engineering. We hide in the boxes, and we is it Terminator 2 where we freeze dry?
Yep,
T2.
where we not nitrous oxide,
It might be
liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
Blasting coolant. And freeze drying the thing.
Yeah.
Man.
Did you have in your notes or pick up on it or whatever that Hemmer said, you know, I won't help, I won't kill it, but I will do what I can to save you, my crew. And then he's the one that presses the button on freeze dry this alien.
Yeah, man. Go, Hemmer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to do this.
I won't kill it. You know, I'm sure you could bring it back to life after freezing it.
I think he's like just framing it differently in his mind. He's like, I don't think of it as killing a Gorn. I think of it as not letting the Gorn kill my guys.
Yeah, it's differently killing.
Yeah, man. But he certainly highlights his purpose.
Yeah. He's, you know, we had in one of the previous episodes with him where it was him and Uhura stuck in that engineering set saying, you know, as an Aenar, one of his personal beliefs is not to kill to an extreme where he's not going to kill. He'll make the weapons charge for someone, but he's not going to press go on the weapons other than in this episode.
Yeah.
Literally.
One of his defining acts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they both step out of their pods, and La'an smashes to shit the frozen Gorn, and you know, decimates
Good for
it.
you.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Okay.
She gets
Crack
some
on.
release on killing something that killed some of her family or one of the same species. Again, you can't really blame a Gorn child for the acts of previous Gorn on your family, but I suppose we're treating them like monsters, so sure,
Yeah.
cool, whatever.
Abort that baby.
Abort that baby. That might be the opening piece for the episode. Abort that baby.
Abort that fucking baby. That I was just thinking that's a great T-shirt. I'm just thinking like Star Trek.
Yeah.
Abort that baby. Big Delta
Yeah.
on the side. Like,
Yeah. Little Gorn face. You know, one of the classic Gorn heads profile. Yeah.
Yep.
But we come to find out that that's not all the Gorn.
oh man.
Because poor
Yeah,
Hammer.
Hammer when he got blasted in the face. That wasn't just acid. That was the money shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
The
He
lizard
got
came on
spaffed.
his face. And,
Yes, the lizard came all over his face
Yeah.
and impregnated him.
Yeah.
Which, you know, isn't normally how that works.
No. Normally that's it.
Normally it's the way around that happening.
Yeah. That's a way of avoiding it.
Yeah.
But you can see he's already starting to sweat and starting to, you know.
Yeah, he's not looking good.
Yeah. And he's ready to do a Scott of the Antarctic. He says, I'm going to go outside now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He just says he's like, I'm gonna go outside now. And everyone's just like, well, no, you can't go outside. We need to sort shit out. He's like, yeah, I can't really help you.
Yeah. Or they're all saying, you know, everyone's chipping in saying, oh no, we'll help you. We'll find a way to slow its growth, or we'll take them out of you. Saying like, yeah, that would have been great about half an hour ago.
Yeah.
Don't really
But
have
we
the
were
time
busy.
for that now.
We were busy.
Yeah.
In the previously on section, the quote that kind of foreshadows this shit about to go down is when Hema tells Uhura a few episodes ago that the Ina believe that a person only dies when they have fulfilled their life's purpose.
Yeah.
And then Hema says, you know, he's not interested in killing this Gorn. He just wants to save his crew members. And he does.
Yeah. And they talk about, he even says to Spock as well, which I suppose you could say is foreshadowing Wrath of Khan, that his is a sacrifice for those he cares about. You know, he's putting himself forward, and Spock says, you know, that's a logical choice. He was like, yeah, it is. You know, if I throw myself outside now, you guys get to live. If I don't, potentially you don't.
Yeah.
And are we ready for another mic pin in?
Okay.
In whatever. He gives advice to Uhura, and it is, you know, open yourself, make a home in yourself for others, and you will find joy more than sadness.
Yeah.
So I'll come back to I'll you know, all these pins have red pieces of string going around them, linking them together like I'm trying to find a murderer. But he says, "Don't weep for me."
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, it was. That's the first time I've been emotional watching Strange New Worlds. I know you got a bit with.
I get emotional all the time.
Yeah.
I'm an emotional wreck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just in my notes in this part, I've just put "son of a bitch."
Yeah.
Son of a bitch, man. Hema. We hardly knew ye.
And he gets to walk out. The sun rises on his face, and he says, you know, because it's still cold outside, he says it's just like Endoria. And then he turns around and falls backwards off this crevasse, into nothingness. Again.
Yeah.
Hammer, you know, I feel for the man.
All one out for the boy.
Yeah. We knew you so little. It's sad.
Damn. I don't think Ortegas is gonna die.
No, I've been saying.
Yeah.
You were saying Ortegas.
You were right.
Yeah.
You were right. I'm guessing we're getting it. We're just gonna get some more Ortega stuff next season. I'm guessing.
Well, for all we know, they're going to kill one crew member a year and bring in.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Have a Sulu in next year. Have someone replace. Well, have Ortegas die and then Sulu replace. Could always happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we skip to the Peregrine flying up, being tracked by the Enterprise, and we see how battered it is. Its nacelle is
Oh, it's all fucked up.
its
Yeah,
dish
mate.
is fucked.
Yeah.
You know, that poor ship is never going to go into warp again without some serious. I mean, they're on the edge of Federation space. How are they going to get it back? Who knows?
Towing it like they're towing it with a fucking tractor beam. That's.
At warp? Would that work? Who knows?
I mean, presumably they're just gonna have to go slowly.
Oh, a couple of years then.
Wait, can't they? Wait, no. Can they extend their warp bubble yet, or is that something they make up later on?
They do it in Enterprise where the Columbia and the Enterprise transfer trip over. The episode that's Speed.
Great episode.
Yeah.
That moment where he's going over and he just stops halfway through and he's like, "This is fucking cool."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool moment.
That's one I can't remember the episode from. I always say I can't remember episode names and then I manage to pull them anyway. I can't remember that one. There we go. It's not E2. That's a different one. No, can't remember. Terminal Velocity, maybe? Never mind.
Maybe.
But then we skip to a funeral for... It is for Hemmer, it is for Duke, and it is for Cheer. They only talk about Hemmer. So these poor bastards. Don't... The lesson of the... I mean, if there's going to be another lesson of the episode, it's don't die when someone more important dies. Because no one will remember you.
Yeah, if you're gonna die, really, make it about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, Ortega's is talking about him. Uhura says she was reminded with Hemmer of her father. And Spock is, standing there making fists and storms out and punches consoles.
Yeah, he's opened up the floodgates.
Yeah.
The emotions are out.
Yeah. So Chapel chases him down, hugs him, says it's not emotion that's making you weak, it's making you human. And I was ready for a kiss because of the,
Oh man, she was gonna go for it.
Yeah.
She was gonna shoot a shot, but I think he knew she was gonna shoot a shot, and he just fucking peaced out.
He pieces out. So never mind. No kiss for Chapel with Spock this season. It doesn't look like.
No, doesn't look like it.
And then last scene of any note is La'an in Pike's quarters talking about Newt, and La'an has a possible lead on Newt's family, so wants to pursue it and is going to take time away from the Enterprise and says, decommission me if you want, but I feel I need to pursue this. And Pike, decent guy, says, take as much leave as you want, just come back when you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And La'an, because she's opened up over her couple of months with Pike, she calls him Chris, thanks him, and goes and buggers off. So La'an potentially isn't in next episode, and maybe not
potentially
the start of next season. It wouldn't be the first time a season has started without one of the core cast members on a ship. I'm thinking Worf leaving to the Klingon ship in TNG. That was the end of maybe season 3. And Trip goes to serve on the Columbia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that stuff does happen at the start of seasons. This is kind of like why it felt like an end of season thing for me.
Yeah, there's those scenes, and then there's the actual final scene of the episode, which is just after that, which is Uhura going up to the bridge, just looking around. There's a lovely little musical cue where it drifts into some TOS strings and stuff,
and having the communicator sounds behind.
Yeah, it was nice.
So where she didn't have a place before, she has a place now. So that's all nice. It's all nice. And episode done.
Episode done.
Yeah.
You talked to bring it back. So you put 3 push pins down.
I put push pins all over the place. So
you did.
My is there a message to the story? I think my push pins were Hema talking to Ahura and saying, you don't find difficulty making friends. You fear for kind of them like leaving you and, the sadness that brings on. The Pike saying, we're stronger together. We're not like these Gorn who fight and then, there's only one of them left and that makes them weak. And there's the La'an piece of there's a difference between surviving and living. So my string together, in the center of it, there is Ahura is surviving. She's not living because she's avoiding making deep connections for the fear of people dying on her or leaving her like her family did. But Pike's pointing out that people are stronger together, and with Hema pointing out that it will be incredibly sad when people die, when people leave, but the happiness that you receive and the strength that you have when people are there for you much outweighs the sadness when people leave or die or whatever. So I'm all stronger together is in the middle of my what's the episode about.
Apes together strong.
Apes together strong. The
Yeah.
sticks break, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So apes together strong is what I've got as my message of the episode.
Yeah. I suppose for me, I would link that, Ahura about, finding community.
Yeah.
I'm linking that back to, Hema's thing about, the Enar believing that one only dies when one has fulfilled one's purpose.
Yeah.
And he, and Uhura mentions in this episode the conversation they had a few episodes back where Hema asked her, what do you think your purpose is? And she's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said about the importance of finding purpose and finding your place.
Yeah.
And where is your place in the galaxy? Where's your home? Who are your people?
Yeah.
I would say the meaning of it is obviously, apes together strong. But yeah, with finding your home, finding a community, often with that comes finding purpose.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, with finding purpose can come finding community.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see that as well.
Yeah. And Hema certainly he fulfilled his purpose.
He did. He had a terrible purpose, but he fulfilled it anyway. My poor guy.
He fulfilled his purpose of being the chief engineer before Scotty.
Yeah. Well, there could always be another one before Scotty.
There could.
Next season, it could be a Scotty being introduced. It could be we know you're going to die as well.
Yeah, we are still, according to Memory Alpha, and I looked it up, we are still a few years off Scotty joining the Enterprise.
Yeah.
So, either we're not getting Scotty yet, or, and I've screenshotted the page from Memory Alpha to compare it, in case Scotty joins in next week's episode, the season finale, so I can compare it to see what changes they've made.
Yeah. They might have to do a Memory Alpha might have to do oh no, he joined the ship, then he left the ship for a small amount of time, then he rejoined the ship under Kirk. Yeah, they might have to do that. Those Memory Alpha guys. But yeah, I can possibly not see him joining next week, because I think they want to do a Pike full episode next week and maybe not be distracted with a Scotty joining. So I think, in my mind, what's going to happen is next season La'an isn't going to start on a ship. She's going to start on the Farragut with James Kirk. And those ships are going to come together, and Scotty is going to maybe transfer, or they're going to pick up their new engineer from the Farragut.
Maybe. So, are we thinking we're not getting Kirk this season.
I think I think I said last week. I think if we get Kirk at all this season, it's going to be the same way we got the Enterprise at the end of Discovery season 1, where it arrives and we get it's the 1701. So we'll have Kirk pop up on the screen, and at the very final scene and say, oh hi, whatever, James Kirk. Oh hi. Yeah.
Hey Sam, nice mustache, dick face.
Yeah. Not died yet, you arsehole.
How many times have you died this week, fucker?
Yeah. So I reckon that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If there's going to be any Kirk this season, I think that's going to be it.
So, do we think that the scene that we got online of them filming some stuff outdoors, do we think that that's from next season?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was a La'an and a Kirk, a James Kirk piece, which is what makes me think that she's going to start on his ship. In the same way that Worf started on whatever Klingon ship.
The Gorkla.
Yeah.
God, I hope I didn't just say something horribly offensive in Klingon.
Anyone who knows Klingon translates and,
Yeah, man. Yeah. And message Mike.
Oh no. Find Ethan, message Ethan instead.
Yeah, find me on TikTok.
Yeah.
And follow me.
Yeah. So that's kind of like where I see next season kind of starting on that point.
I
wouldn't be surprised if they do a Scotty though.
No, I think I would like. I think it'd be cool if we got a Scotty. I couldn't imagine who they'd be getting to play it. I hope they get a Scott.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's an unknown. Look how, or at least unknown to me. Let's say that, because I didn't know
a relatively
unknown because I didn't know, other than Anson Mount and Una, whatever her name is,
Sandra Romaine.
Sandra Romaine, not Sandra Romaine. Rebecca Romaine.
Rebecca Romijan.
I don't think I knew anyone other than maybe going like, oh, there's the guy from Dune as Mbenga, and there's Ethan Peck we had in a couple of episodes of Disco.
That's Gregory Peck's son.
Yeah, bring all the Pecks out. So I hope they go with someone that's relatively unknown and good in the role rather than.
And a jock, get for once.
Yeah.
Let's have a Scottish man play a Scottish man on Star Trek.
Yeah. I want to say it's a massive shame to lose Hemmer.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
Like we did definitely did not get enough Hemmer.
No.
Every episode Hemmer hasn't been in. We have been like, where's Hemmer?
Where's Hemmer? We need the Hemmer episode. Are we going to get the Hemmer episode?
He didn't even get a fucking log.
No. And I think it's a crying shame on two fronts. In that, he's an alien on the ship. So, we lose out on the different culture. So we, as we were saying, the different culture at the end. His morals are not to kill. He'll load a weapon for you, but he won't press go. Other than this episode.
I mean, he fucking did, but
he did. He didn't smash the gun to pieces. I suppose he left that.
He doesn't press go.
Yeah.
Except when he does.
Yeah. But blind as well. His psychic powers we didn't really touch on at all. Anytime it was like, oh, can you read the Gorn psychically? It's like, nope. And you go like, what's the point?
He's got that Deanna Troi telepathy.
Yeah.
It only works when it works.
Yeah. So that's the first point of where I think it's like a massive shame to lose him.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one, in our universe, for having disabilities on screen, we spoke at slightly last week about, well, maybe he hasn't been in as much because studios aren't great with working with people who have disabilities. And Star Trek is normally good at, or okay at portraying people with disabilities on screen. And then,
or one episode at a time.
Well,
or if it's in the case of Geordi LaForge, like he is blind, but he is not.
Yeah.
And so his blindness very rarely has anything to do with his anything.
If anything, it's a superpower half the time.
Yeah.
It's brought up.
Yeah.
It's, Geordie, can you look and see this dent in a wall, or what is hiding behind these wall panels?
Yeah, but it's not his
yes,
blindness that is the superpower. It is the augmentation.
Yeah.
And again, Hemmer's blindness is his superpower in the sense that because he's blind, he has everything else.
Yeah.
It's his blindness is a superpower in the same way that like Daredevil's blindness
Yeah.
is a superpower. But yeah.
But it's a shame to lose it representation wise, and it's a shame to lose it because now is the crew just, unless they bring on the Catwoman, I'm not going to remember the names. I'm sorry, animated
Eartha
fans.
Kitt.
No,
Julie Newmar.
no. From the animated series, whatever the name of the cat is, the
Cation.
The Cation.
The Cation. Oh my god, I would love. Oh god, I want a live action Cation so bad.
I can't remember her name, and I'm not. The guy with the three arms, the arm out the middle, it begins with A. It's like Arjax or something like that.
Yeah, man, we need more aliens.
Because I don't want a ship.
More aliens.
Other than Spock, this ship now, and it brings into the thing I was saying way earlier, where they're getting around COVID restrictions because there's 10 people on that ship. And only 2 of them were aliens, and now only 1 of them is an alien.
Yeah.
So you kind of need someone in there.
Well, I guess now with less COVID restrictions, maybe we can get some more people in, get some more fun stuff.
Hopefully.
What other aliens? We could have a Saurian, what's his face? The lizard man who sneezed on Pike.
Yeah.
Um,
Linus was that guy, wasn't he? From Disco. Yeah.
Such a funny name, Linus. Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, man, I'm so sad about Hemmer.
Yeah. It's a big loss for the show, I think. In that, I know we weren't in engineering and we didn't see him much, but there was always
literally,
the hope.
yeah, it's because we didn't see him much that I'm so sad. I really liked him, and now he's gone.
We didn't even get the classic episode of going back to someone's planet, going to the alien crew member's planet, and going to Andoria and going, oh, there's something up Andoria, and we have to see your family and try and fix whatever's up with the planet. Yeah. We didn't have any of that, so
yeah.
Not particularly happy on that front, I would say.
But he had a purpose. His purpose was to be in the show.
Yeah.
And he fulfilled that purpose.
He did.
That's out of universe. In universe, his purpose was to save everyone.
Yeah. I should say as well, because I have alluded to the studio not being great with people with disabilities, and talked about the Eternals last week. In an interview released today, Bruce Horrocks, or however you pronounce his name, who's the actor underneath the henna makeup, who is a blind actor, of course, said that this was always the plan at the start. It wasn't a Lieutenant Yar. They didn't get in halfway into filming and say, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, let's get rid of you, guy, or you don't want to be here, but we don't want you here if you're going to be like that. So it was always apparently part of the plan. So.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose with all of the searching for foreshadowing that we do, I suppose we probably should have guessed that this was going to happen. When he said, "My people believe that we only die when we've fulfilled our purpose." That should have sort of telegraphed.
I tell you what distracted us. George Sam Kirk.
Yeah,
we were looking for someone to die, and you thought Ortegas, and I was just
me
so
distracted with
by
Ortegas. Fucking George
Sam Kirk constantly dying every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, do you have anything else on the episode?
One note that I didn't read out, when George Sam Kirk is yelling at Spock, there is a very obnoxious Dutch tilt.
Yeah.
So like when it's Spock, it's like this.
Yeah.
When it's George Sam Kirk, it's like this. And I'm like, cinematic language. George is losing his shit a little bit.
Well, there's Dutch angles all the way from the second they come on the ship, and that is half cinematic language in that something is amiss on the ship, and half the ship has crashed into.
It's on a tilt. Yeah. So maybe it's all on a tilt, and it's Spock.
Yeah.
Who has the
He's
Dutch
walking around
tilt.
like this.
Everyone is on a tilt, and then when the camera's looking at Spock and it's like that,
because he's
Dutch
level-headed.
Because he's losing his shit. Spock's losing his shit.
Okay.
He's getting in touch with his emotions. Maybe he's even though it looks level,
it's a
because
double
the
Dutch
ship's
angle.
on an angle, he's being Dutched.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
You might be onto something there. Then the only things
I have a film degree.
film degree in use. The only thing I have from the episode that I didn't use was my puns.
Oh yes.
So
Bring it on.
I was trying to, or I could have called Newt Gone Girl, as in the film Gone Girl.
Gone Girl, yes.
Yeah. I had Gone in 60 Seconds when La'an was running through the corridors with a Gorn chasing her.
Or Duke.
Yeah.
When Duke got fucking
carried away.
Got gorned.
Well, I had him under Going Gorn. I had the plan to trap the Gorn being, instead of gone fishing, Gorn fishing.
Nice, Gorn fishing. Nice.
When the fourth Gorn was killed immediately, I had the Eagles playing Already Gorn. And trying to link it into the episode, I had either Kelly Clarkson or Rainbow, so there goes my musical taste, singing Since You've Been Gone. So,
oh man, they should have played that at Hemmer's funeral.
Since you've been gone, dun, dun. Since you've been gone, dun dun. Out of my head, can't take it, dun 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 dun. Yeah.
Class.
Love that. So, trying to work them in, but didn't. Anyway.
Amazing.
Yeah. Other than that, there's next episode trailer. Do we want to talk about?
Did you checked it out?
Yeah, I checked it out. Or the sneak peek, I should say, because they don't seem to have trailers. It's just sneak peeks.
So sneak peek is fun. Kid, like, they're having a meeting with the captain, presumably the captain of another vessel, and he's got a different badge, which is a TOS thing. All of the different ships had different badges. The Delta that we know as the Starfleet Delta is not that. It's just the Enterprise logo. And then presumably it's
the interesting thing with that is they did it for one ship, the Charlie X ship, and in Roddenberry's notes he says, because that's not a Starfleet ship, it's a Starfleet like merchant navy ship, so that's why they've got a different Delta. And then the next time the costumers did it, they looked at that episode Charlie X and put a different Delta on someone else. So he wrote a memo saying like, no, please stop doing this. And then that memo kind of like sank into nothingness for a good while. And then there was the Enterprise episode Mirror Darkly, and they go onto the TOS Defiant. They get that through timey-wimey shit. and they've all got a different delta on. And then that memo resurfaced to say, "Oh no, Enterprise is like disrupting the canon again." And it's like, well, it was disrupted already. It's
The
disrupted
canon
again.
fucking up its own arse, mate. It's all fucked.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
different delta, and the captain has a kid called Mott, and unfortunately, it's not Mott the barber. It's not a little Mott the barber.
No.
You could say it was Mott the barber. Mott
Mate,
the barber.
you are fucking
I'm reaching
firing
there.
on all cylinders with the puns, man.
It's because we're doing this we're getting to an end slightly earlier than we normally do. We haven't reached 11 o'clock yet, so I still have puns in my mind.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, and we find out that this Mott was one of the kids that Pike knows he's going to save in the future. So he starts having and goes into the corridor to cool down, really. So that's next week's episode. It looks like it's going to be a Pike dealing with, can he save these kids, sort of piece.
How do I reach these kids?
Yeah.
Just based on that sneak peek is when I kind of was like, okay, I don't think we're getting that Kirk episode, and I don't think it's going to be a time travel episode.
No.
That's what I thought that was all going to lead up to.
There's always season 2, man. There's always season 2.
Always season 2.
We've been hitting the tropes so far. We can hit them next season as well. Hell yeah. So that's next week for us, and I'm looking forward to it. You looking forward to it?
I'm very much looking forward to it. I am predicting a captain's log.
I'm looking forward to a different style of ship. So that TOS Miranda might come through.
Like a boat?
Yeah, a boat on the ocean. We're all just boats on the ocean, if we want to get philosophical.
Man, we're all just ships in the night, man.
We're all passing and stuff like that.
Totally.
Oh, man. So hopefully a different looking ship. But at least we're getting different badges, and we'll find out what those badges are for.
Yeah.
And a Mott that isn't the barber.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we know that this child will not become a barber. He will become a dead soldier.
That's how they live. That's how they live and how they die. That's what we know. So it kind of links back from the first episode of the season of him and Una talking of, can you change your fate?
Yes.
Have you done anything to try and prevent this other than just saying, well, I'll settle into knowing that I'm going to save these kids?
Do you think he's going to be okay, go into the Mind Palace. Into the Mind Palace. How does that kid die?
Yeah.
And then he's just going to be spending the episode just being like, hey, you should always wear rubber-soled shoes at all times.
I think it'll be like, so you want to join the Federation and you really like me as a Federation captain. Okay. Have you ever considered a different job? I don't think you're cut out for this, 8-year-old kid.
Yeah. You should do something else with your life. You should not join Starfleet. You should become a barber.
A barber. And turn into a Bolian. Have, Bolian surgery to turn into a Bolian. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, I bet that's cultural appropriation.
Yeah. Feels like it. Yeah. But that might be us then. If we've gone through the episode, gone through next episode.
We're not through next episode.
Well, we've talked about the trailer.
We've gone through next episode. Sweet. Yeah. I suppose if I'm gonna relate the deeper meaning of this episode of Strange New Worlds to us, we make this show to send out onto a Facebook group, and in that way we found a community, we found a place, and with this show, Mated Show, we found a purpose, and now that we have fulfilled our purpose, we can die. We can die happy knowing that we have fulfilled our purpose. Yes. Yeah. I mean, we can die. I mean, I don't think that there is happiness left in the world. Especially not now that there's going to be so many more people born.
Yeah.
I'm
The
very
message of the
salty
episode:
about.
abort those babies.
Yeah, the real message about this episode for people in America, who don't like people having bodily autonomy, is sometimes you need to abort that fucking baby.
Because the creature inside you will gobble you up.
Yeah.
You know,
Will
metaphorically
either-
and sometimes physically.
It will either like kill you physically, or it will kill your spirit. It will either fucking eat your flesh, or it will gobble up all your resources.
Yeah.
So yeah. Abort that fucking baby. Blast that shit with coolant.
And on that, you know, somewhat interesting note to end. I would say,
yeah.
is peace and long life the opposite of what we were saying?
I will say, yeah, live long and prosper, motherfuckers, but also like, Hema, of all the fucking aliens I've met
Yeah.
around the galaxy, yours was the most human.
Yeah. I'll put in under this bit the sound of Scotty's lovely little music that he's piping away.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think it's Amazing Grace on the bagpipes.
Is it? Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah. And from me, peace and long life, you double dumbasses. And again, Hema, we didn't know you long enough, and we are pouring out, of course, from our boy Hema.